morning. It's McCollum on Business. I'm Stephen McCollum, and for the next 30 minutes or so, I'm going to get you updated on what's happening around the business world. Iran war ceasefire seems to be holding. What does that mean for the markets? Well, we'll look into that with the Market Watch, stocks we're paying attention to, plus all the local and national stories that you need to know here on this Thursday. NFL Draft Thursday as well. Don't forget, come and join us later on tonight. 4:45 is when we're going to go live on Robat TV and on YouTube for our draft show here for the main event. For you sports fans, NFL guys, just letting you know, come and join us as well here. Me, Bruce Cooper, of course, Dale Hellestrand, and possibly a special guest coming in here, scheduled to come in here. We're just going to get the draft analysis as it happens out there. And enough of that, though. Let's get right into that Market Watch. Well, everything is kind of selling off today after hitting hitting records yesterday. The S&P 500, well, it's down today, but it did have a record-setting day yesterday. The Dow Jones right now down 45 points to 49,263. The S&P 500 is down the 11 points to 7118. The Nasdaq also down 140 points right now to 24,516. Then you got the Russell 2K. The small cap index basically even, 0.90 points up right now to 2779 for it. Bitcoin coming back down a little bit today. Yesterday it was at 78,000. Well, still well above that 75,000 level that was kind of like the upper end of it here lately, but 77,543 for Bitcoin here today on this Thursday as well. Stocks we are paying attention to begin the show. Well, first one is Netflix out there. Netflix has been in the story a lot these last couple of weeks with, of course, some changes happening within that company, but they are up 0.77% here today, and it's all because they did a regulatory filing. It showed that Netflix authorized an additional $25 billion share buyback after that failed Warner Brothers Discovery deal here, right? So they're up 0.79%. Based off of this share buyback. $25 billion is not short chump change here in terms of that, but it is going to make wealthier the people that do have stock. Obviously, their stock options become more valuable with that stock buyback. And then there's Lululemon out there. You know them. Athleisure is what they call what they do. 9.76% down here today. They announced Heidi O'Neill as the new CEO. Boy, what an ego boost this is, right? Hey, I'm the new CEO. And the stock market says, yeah, we don't like you. We're going to take your stock down 9% here today. Yeah, O'Neill's going to take over on September 8th of the company. She previously had worked with Nike, Levi Strauss, Hyatt Hotels, and even Spotify. Just hit over the 10% down here today with that notification of the new CEO. Here for Lululemon, and then Tesla out there. We told you yesterday everybody's kind of waiting for Tesla to report their numbers. And Tesla is based off of autonomous reporting, autonomous robots, batteries. That's what the Tesla stock is built on. Not so much as car sales anymore, where they're down 1.99% here today, Tesla is. Well, the CEO of Tesla, as you know, is Elon Musk. He warned of substantial increases in capital spending to fund its self-driving and humanoid robot kind of their ambitions out there, their goals with those deals. Shares climbed as much as 4% just after Tesla posted their first quarter earnings results. That was 41 cents per share, by the way. That did beat the analysts' expectations, which was 37%. But Tesla, $22.39 billion in revenue, came in below, fairly significantly below the estimate amount of $22.64 billion as well. So they were up as much as 4% right after announcements and kind of gone backwards since here. Overnight, pre-market was down about 1.5% in pre-market. And then now you see it here with the market open, 2.43% down today. We've seen this with, a lot of AI stuff out there with Meta and them. They announced how much they're going to spend on their capital projects. And the stocks kind of go down. And that's what we're seeing here for Tesla today as well. Stocks we're paying attention when we come back later. We're going to look at Avis car budget. Obviously, Avis car rental there with budget. It's all part of one company. We'll look at them. Knight Swift Transportation. Obviously, a local flavor there with that company. And then we'll go to the airlines, Southwest Airlines here today as well. And right, gas prices are upending the airline. We have a Lufthansa story coming up here in just a few minutes about airlines and what they're doing. American, I saw this morning, kind of announced what they're having to do based off of gas prices. So we'll look specifically at Southwest here coming up as well later on when we come back and look at the stock market. But first, let's get into some national stories you need to know. The ceasefire is holding steady. I'm looking right now. Trump has ordered the Navy to shoot and kill boats laying mines in the Strait of Hormuz this morning as well. And looks like that's the only story kind of around of the war side of it. As you see, the market is down slightly today, a little bit of a sell off happening. So that's good news. No major roiling of the market, but U.S. jobless aid applications for the week ending April 18th, they actually rose about 6,000. That number is now 214,000. That's up from the previous week's 208,000. The reporting came out this morning from the Labor Department, and that's slightly more than the 210,000 new applications that analysts were expecting to come out. The number does remain within the historically healthy range in recent years. And it just goes to show that layoffs, firings, even though you hear about layoffs constantly here, we don't even put them out there very much here because we get tired of pointing them out. But even though there's a bunch of them out there, big companies laying off 10,000, et cetera, we're still in that healthy range here in this economy with what it's doing. Don't forget also the Labor Department reported earlier this month that U.S. employers added it's 178,000 new jobs in March. So no hire, no fire, except for the fact that 178,000 new jobs in March. Well, that nudged the unemployment rate back down to 4.3% at that time. And that was after that large loss of 92,000 jobs in February as well. So we're seeing this big ebb and flow here, and unemployment, well, it's up barely 6,000, but within those healthy levels as of now. Labor Department reporting here this morning. Now, yesterday, the acting attorney general for President Trump, well, he came out yesterday, or early this morning, I should say, and he signed an order actually reclassifying state licensed medical marijuana. Well, now it's officially a less dangerous drug. This is a huge policy shift for the federal government. It's been long sought after by advocates who have always said cannabis should never have been treated like the harder drugs like heroin by the federal government. So Todd Blanche, he's the acting attorney general. He signed the deal. It does not legalize marijuana for medical or recreational use under federal law, but what it does do is it changes the way that it's regulated. So basically, licensed medical marijuana is now was a Schedule One, which Schedule One, if you don't know, it's for drugs without medical use and with high potential of abuse, and now it's being reclassified as the loosely regulated Schedule 3. It gives licensed medical marijuana operators a major tax break and even eases some of the barriers to researching cannabis as well. The Trump administration also said it was jump starting the process for reclassifying marijuana more broadly. So they want to set a hearing date for late June to get into that process as well. If you go back and remember, Trump told his administration in December to work as quickly as possible to reclassify marijuana into this Schedule 3. Well, on Saturday, as he signed an unrelated executive order about psychedelics, President Trump seemed to express his frustration on why the process of reclassifying cannabis was taking so long. Well, signed this morning here. Blanche's action largely legitimizes medical marijuana programs in the 40 states that have adopted them. It sets up an expedited system for state licensed medical marijuana producers and even the distributors. Now, they can now register with the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration. It does make clear that cannabis researchers won't be penalized for obtaining state licensed marijuana or marijuana derived products for use in their work. It also grants state licensed medical marijuana companies a windfall because it's allowing them for the first time to deduct business expenses on their federal taxes. So that's how big this is here in terms of the shift here in the federal government policies as well. So that is officially there, signed this morning. by the acting attorney general. And we told you later on we're going to look at Southwest stock coming up here. We're going to talk a little bit about American with some breaking news from them as well. But first, Lufthansa, they came out and they said they're cutting about 20,000 short haul flights this summer. Yeah. And the reason why? Spike in jet fuel prices. They say that the increased jet fuel prices has basically rendered many of these smaller routes unprofitable, was the term they used, and all because of those rising costs on fuel. Fuel is the second biggest expense for airlines after labor costs. Well, Lufthansa said earlier this week that the cuts, which will run through October, they're expected to save about 40,000 metric tons of jet fuel. Lufthansa did note that the fuel prices have roughly doubled since the outbreak of the Iran war, about 8 weeks ago as well. So, this is a broader trend in the airline industry. Airlines worldwide are adjusting their operations in response to those surging fuel costs. We've seen, I think it was Delta took away their future guidance this year because of it. American Airlines announced just about 2 hours ago they cut their 2026 earnings projections, all because of the surge in jet fuel as well. I saw another airline, I want to say United, but don't quote me on this. They said that they're going to have a 100% price increase on tickets in the next couple of months if the fuel prices don't come down. That's how expensive it is for these airlines. And now 20,000 short haul routes gone for Lufthansa here coming up this summer. And we'll look at Southwest here coming up in their specific stock later on in the show. And today's a big day. Warner Brothers Discovery shareholders are set to vote this morning. Matter of fact, they'll be voting right now, 7 a.m. our time, 10 a.m. Eastern. They're set to vote this morning on the company's proposed $81 billion sale to Skydance, a Paramount Skydance company. It's like I said, 7 a.m. our time. It's this is a big merger deal that could very much reshape Hollywood. It's not could, it's going to reshape Hollywood and the media landscape as a whole. Paramount wants to buy all of Warner. So that means HBO Max, Harry Potter and those entities, even CNN. Well, they could all find themselves under Paramount's companies, CBS, the Top Gun franchise, for instance, Paramount Plus streaming service. Yeah, a green light from shareholders this morning would bring the acquisition closer to that finish line. There is still some regulation stuff we'll talk about in just a minute. So maybe we'll find out during the show what the votes is. I don't know how long it takes to get the results back, but voting is going on right now as well. The deal is valued at about $111 billion. It does include debt, based on Warner's current outstanding shares as of this moment. But as I said, if they vote this through, doesn't mean it's over. Now, I think the regulatory process is going to be simple because Larry Ellison is a Trump ally, right? And they had conversations before they took over the deal from Netflix about the regulation side, but they could still face ongoing regulatory reviews, specifically from the U.S. Department of Justice. Can they get through those, and what do they have to divest, etc.? Warner has said it expects to close the deal sometime in the third fiscal quarter here for them as well. So big day in that voting coming up, and beer drinkers rejoice. Yes, NFL drafts tonight. A lot of you will be partaking as you're watching your favorite team, hopefully draft the player of the future. Well, Anheuser-Busch, they're increasing its U.S. investment to $600 million over 2 years, which is going to basically expand their brewery capacity. It's going to help out with worker training, even hiring veteran workers, meaning military veterans as well. Yeah, Anheuser-Busch is leaning further into U.S. domestic manufacturing. Don't forget, they're owned by a foreign company now. AB says that they said, quote, the $600 million investment is about advancing American manufacturing, strengthening our supply chain, and creating lasting careers and a brighter future for U.S. workers, unquote. That's the theme, right, of coming back here and producing here in America with the current presidential administration. The company said the expansion will increase manufacturing capacity and invest in workforce development through 15 new training centers and those veteran programs. This move aligns with broader industry and government efforts, obviously, to boost domestic productions and even rebuild the manufacturing workforce that's kind of gone away here in America over the last, decade or so as well. All pushed by the Trump administration. So this is $600 million is what they're going to spend. It's going to be over 2 years, starting this year through 2020. I'm sorry, from 2025 to 2026 time frame. So they started it last year into this year. And as I said, brewery upgrades, technology, production capacity. Yes. So this expands on a $300 million investment that was announced last year in 2025. So another 300,000 on top of it, and Anheuser-Busch making some more domestic moves here in the U.S. as well. And then this is something I don't understand. But a bipartisan group of U.S. senators want to fix it here. This is all about government food assistance programs, what you can buy, what you cannot buy. There's been a fight, right, on can you buy sugary drinks? Can you buy candy? Well, now they want the U.S. government and the SNAP program to split the bill for rotisserie chicken from grocery stores. This is what cracks me up about this and why I don't understand it. Rotisserie chicken's cheaper than buying actual chicken and cooking it. The senators this week, a bipartisan group of senators, including Fetterman there, Senator Fetterman from Pennsylvania, this week they introduced what they're calling the Hot Rotisserie Chicken Act. It has its own name, folks. They will make supermarket rotisserie chicken eligible purchase under the SNAP program or the Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program, or SNAP. Formerly known as food stamps. They've changed that name. The SNAP program, it provides a monthly stipend for low-end families to buy groceries. It doesn't pay for hot prepared foods, though. That exclusion dates way back, right, in the federal rules here. It was meant to promote home cooking when the SNAP benefits first came out, but critics say it's outdated and penalizes families that are already struggling to make ends meet. That basically you're excluding the convenience and nutritious options of those hot foods. Lawmakers at the state and federal level, well, they've been debated for a long time which foods are going to be eligible for SNAP benefits. For instance, Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., he has been all over the states to exclude junk foods, things like candy and soda. Well, 22 states, mostly led by Republicans, have requested or been granted permission to ban certain foods within that program and what you can buy. But yeah, you got to have rotisserie chicken in there. First of all, glorious. Second of all, it's cheap. It's cheaper than buying regular chicken. Mm, 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 mm. SNAP is a major piece of the U.S. social safety net, used by nearly 42 million people, about 1 in 8 Americans, to help buy groceries. The monthly benefit per household is about $350. The average benefit per person is about $190. Well, the Hot Rotisserie Chicken Act, that should pass. You should be able to go buy your $5 rotisserie chicken. At least I think that's what it is at the Fry's by my house here. $5, $5 or $6 for it out there. And it can feed a lot. There's a lot of chicken on those rotisserie chickens out there. Hey, when we come back, we'll keep it rolling. We got some local stories coming your way. As I said, we'll look at the Southwest Airlines stock for you as well. Night Swift Transportation, a little local favor with that. Hometown Transportation Company and Avis Car Budget as well. Take a look at the market. A little bit of a sell-off this morning after, like for instance, the S&P breaking a record yesterday. Let's get into it. Wrap up this Thursday edition of McCollum on Business really strong. And folks, you're not going to want to miss this. You ever heard of anything as absurd as a candy pack? Well, you will here today. Come on back, McCollum on Business. here, McCollum on Business Thursday edition. As soon as we're done here, and we'll put this show up on demand. All of our shows are on demand at Robat TV. And as you know by now, all of our shows are on demand on YouTube, TME Media AZ, as well as Rumble as well. Well, not every show. The Real Matrix isn't on the YouTube channel, but it is on the Rumble channel there. Rumble.com/user/TME Media for you. All of our programming on demand there for you. If you're not part of Robat TV, we appreciate you however you catch us. Of course, the main event has its own podcast as well. Just search the main event with Steven or the main event with Dale. It pops right up. On your favorite podcast system, the Real Matrix, just search Real Matrix, Angry Patriot. Pops right up. The Pit Stop, new episode this week, is available now. Robat, YouTube, Rumble, free podcast as well. Just type in the Pit Stop with Steven or the Pit Stop Talk, and it'll pop right up for you as well. Follow the TME Sports Show on X, or interact with us on our social media, of course, the Pit Stop Talk. They're on X as well for the Pit Stop. And then, have some fun with us out there as well. But don't forget to not follow TME Media AZ on X as well. That's, of course, the parent company that does all of our production of our shows. And, that's going to have show stuff, and it's going to announce things like tonight's draft show that we're doing here, Robat TV and on YouTube, live about 4:45 today. Draft starts at 5. Me, 34-year local sportscaster Bruce Cooper in the house as well. He's going to bring all of his Emmys in and his research here on the draft. He is quite knowledgeable on every player that'll be drafted tonight. A 17-year NFL veteran, Dale Hellestrade. Of course, special guests scheduled to come in. It's interesting to see how tonight goes with the NFL draft, and we'll get all the coverage right here, Robat TV and TME Media AZ. Come and join us and follow TME Media AZ as well, where we put those types of promotions out for you regarding the shows out there. And folks, all that being said, let's get right back into that Market Watch. I told you, sell-off day here, but minimal sell-off day. Everything's kind of flipped back to the positive side as of right now, I can tell you. Because what we have here for the service we use is a little bit delayed. I believe it's about an 8-minute delay or 10-minute delay. Well, it's trending back towards even numbers here as time is in the future. But right now, Dow Jones is up to 164 points. S&P 500 is up to 2. The NASDAQ, I'll just tell you, is down right now 100 points, as that has gone negative. The Russell 2K is up 9 points right now as well for it. And judging by real-time numbers, I'll just tell you, everything has gone back to the negative here on that side. So like I said, we're about I think it's a 10-minute delay here between the two. But, yesterday the S&P did do a record-setting day, coming back a little bit today and back and forth as we see here. No words, it's just the, shoot-to-kill boats laying mines in the Strait of Hormuz. Only news from that side of things. President Trump has the lowest approval rating on economy, and overall, it's the lowest in his 2 terms as of right now. Fuel prices with the airlines, and we're going to look at Southwest here coming up, but the airlines, fuel are struggling with the fuel prices out there as well, and let's look at some stocks here. Avis car budget is the first one we're going to look at here right now. 34.99% down right now. I'll tell you this, it was also down. It finished down 37.8% yesterday as well. Alarming numbers here for Avis Budget Group right now is what we're looking at. Alarming numbers. However, in perspective, this stock is up more than 200% just this month alone. That does not include today's down number, but it included yesterday's number. The stock has a long way to go to fall backwards, right, to the pre-April numbers here, but it's still alarming when you've had 2 days of 30+% downfall grades here for Avis Budget Group out there. Next up, we got Knight Swift Transportation. Well, they're up 5% here today as well. Obviously, gas is a big concern for this company as well as a trucking company, shipping company. Well, they did report their first quarter revenue. It was $1.85 billion. It did come in below the number analysts were expecting. That number of expectation was 1.86 billion. Operating income for their last quarter came in at $49.8 million. Yeah, check this out, folks. The estimates were expecting $87 million for operating income. Missed it by that much. Phew, big number missed there. But they are up 5% here today. Night Swift Transportation. Then you got Southwest Airlines. We already talked about Lufthansa cutting 20,000 routes here over the summer. We talked about American pulling their future number here for 2026 based off of fuel pricing. Southwest Airlines, with all the changes they made, right? Assigned seating. They're just like every other airline now. There's nothing special about them. We've talked about this repeatedly on this program. Did that mean generating more money? Well, I'll put it this way. They had earnings of 45 cents per share. The expectation was 47 cents per share. They had revenue of $7.20 billion. Well, the expectation was $7.27 billion. So, yes, the stock has gone up over time based off of these changes, but the actual numbers on the back end on their first quarter reporting are not there, missing the estimated amounts. They're down 2.06% here today. And also, Elliott Management, who bought in and forced all these changes and got the people on the board. Well, Elliott Management has sold over half of their investment in Southwest. I think it's two of the board members that they got onto the board have also resigned on that board as well. So basically, stop me if you've heard me complain about equity managers and those types of companies. Yeah, they went into Southwest, afforded changes, made the company apparently worse, but sold off when the stock was high and made their money and moved on to something else out there. Gotta love it, don't you? America? Left the mess behind. Now we get into some local stories here. I don't know, I couldn't catch my breath there for a second because it's official. We told you yesterday the Phoenix City Council was voting last night about raising your tax or raising your price on your waste management stuff here around your house. Oh, that's a technical term, waste management stuff. Yep. I told you yesterday they're going to vote it in. They voted it in. So if you live in Phoenix proper, specifically, it was an 8-1 vote here to increase solid waste rates starting this July for you. You'll see $14 total increase over 3 years. The cost is rising $5 increments for the first 2 years and then $4 in 2028. So this rate hike is to address the projected $20.8 million shortfall in the solid waste fund. Hey, what I want to know is fine. If you need the price increase because of expenses, fine. Show us where the shortfall is for. Is it due to taking money out of it? Is it due to mismanagement of funds? Why do you have a $20 million shortfall? Is my question. Show us those numbers as well, right, from that side. So there you go, Phoenix. Get ready. Our studio's in the Phoenix area, so we're going to get those price increases here as well. So, yeah, there you go. Officially through. Government, trust me, government has never seen a fee or price increase or tax increase that they've never liked either out there. So, yeah. So then here's the thing, the other change they made. So you have $5 for the next 2 years, $4 in 2028. Then after that, starting in 2029, well, Phoenix will tie rate increases to inflation. They'll cap it at 5%, but every year you're going to get increases based off of inflation. So 2 to 3%, hopefully only a 2 to 3% inflation rate after that moving forward. They say with the internal cost saving efforts, yeah, that's what they say. They say that's going to avoid these sharp increases later on by just having a price increase every year out there as well. Government, more and more of your money is what they are looking for out there as well. And then, interesting story here. We'll go to Maricopa County Board of Supervisors. They voted 4-1 yesterday. They're trying to block a court order that would hand control of key election operations back to the county recorder. They had taken them away. Now they're trying to go back to the county reporter. There's this big lawsuit going on. Yes. So the transfer here will include computer systems, servers, IT staff, Well, it would obviously come right before the midterm voting coming up here in just a couple months. The board is asking a judge to pause, basically put as a restraining order against that order while it does file an appeal of transferring it back to the county recorder. If the judge agrees to put the pause on the transfer of staff, equipment, and election duties to the county recorder's office, well, it would be put on hold with a temporary restraining order as well. So the delay could stretch to the July 21st primary, which of course leads to the midterm elections coming up here as well. And it could even go that far, right? Depending on how the lawsuit fights as well. This fight basically is over who runs the pieces of the election that is considered critical, right? For all of Maricopa County. The recorder's office traditionally oversees voter registration, early voting, mail ballots. The board runs traditionally in person voting on election day. That's how it's worked historically. Well, just before the Treasury here, the voting person, Heap, basically took over and became elected and took into that office. Well, the board signed a last minute agreement and it took over roughly a third of the recorder's budget. All of its IT staff, computer systems, some election duties as well. They basically they didn't like his politics for Heap, in my opinion. So they did a last minute thing to make sure he had no power when it comes to elections. People talk all the time about stolen election and who's trying to steal elections or whatever. A last second transfer of stuff seems a little shady, doesn't it? Out there as well. Yeah. But obviously, Heap wants those resources back. And things like that is what they're looking at. The board does say handing them over weeks before an election would be disruptive and harmful. Yeah. This is what you're fighting over, folks. Yeah. But keep telling me how people aren't trying to steal elections. Whatever nonsense is out there. Hey, let's talk about something fun here. I guess you could say it's fun. I'm not a fanny pack guy. I would rather have my pants falling down with the weight of stuff I have in my pockets than wear a fanny pack. Just would. I'd have to have that belt cinched as tight as humanly possible, but still pulling my pants up from time to time. Every pocket would be full. Oh, yes. That's what I will do to sacrifice to not wear a fanny pack. I have two problems with this concept here. But you might be a lucky person. You might soon have a place to put your Diet Coke, folks. Second of all, who wants that for Diet Coke? Am I right, studio audience that loves Diet Coke? Somebody in here loves their Diet Coke. Coca-Cola announced in a press release this week, that it created what it calls the Canny Pack. There you go. A fanny pack designed to hold cans of the Diet Coke out there. Does that mean I can't put regular Coke in it? It's illegal. They're gonna take it from me. This fun-sized accessory is tied to the Devil Wears Prada 2 movie and his partnership with James Holt, who's a character in the movie. If you don't know the movie there, that movie is all the rage right now for everybody. Here's what they say. Diet Coke has long occupied and coveted intersections where fashion meets culture. The Devil Wears Prada 2 doesn't just build on an iconic legacy, it ignites a fresh, modern dynamism that inspires style ambition across discerning generations. Yeah, that was their release. A lot of words to say, not say candy pack. What would Miranda say? What was her name? Miranda? What the mean lady in Devil Wear? What would she say about a candy pack? Probably roll her eyes. Coca-Cola itself described the bag as crafted from supple top grain leather and adorned with playful hardware and charms. The bag is silver, matching the color of the can of Diet Coke, and appears just large enough to hold a can of soda. Should have made it big enough for a six-pack. Then I'd be Then I'd be impressed. Yeah. There you go, folks. Candy Pack. It's going to be on display at Saks Fifth Avenue store in New York City from May 1st to May 15th. If you want to check it out, a bag will be crafted by an artisan in the store on the first day of the display. Woo! Going to make a candy pack right in front of you. It's not going to be for sale, though, folks, unfortunately. Sorry to break your hearts here. Don't blame the messenger. Just reporting. The reason why, though, is because they say, quote, because true luxury is never readily available, its allure is undeniable. I hope Coke's having fun with this. They did say they're going to give away a limited number of bags through a surprise and delight gifting from influencer Kristen Holgeshoff on April 29th. There you go. I don't know what that means. I don't know who that person is. I don't want one. But if you do, check it out. If you get one, please let me know. I want to see it. Thanks for joining us here on this Thursday edition of McCollum on Business. I'm giving up on the world today after that story. We'll be back tomorrow, Friday, 7 a.m. Don't forget, draft show tonight. Main event coming up live, 8 to 10 a.m. Draft show tonight on the YouTube page, TME Media AZ. Give us a follow there. And then, of course, this show will be going live there here probably over the next couple weeks as well for you to share us with your friends and catch us there on YouTube, TME Media AZ. Of course, follow us on TME Media AZ as well on X. And, folks, main events coming up next. Me and 17-year NFL veteran Del Hellestree. He's for the beginning part of the show. He takes off and does another hit over there. And with possible guests here tonight, John Holmberg and the Holmberg Morning Sickness. And then, of course, Bruce Cooper's coming in tonight as well. But here for the main event, you got Uncle Lou here on Thursday. Lots to talk about with him. UFC, hockey playoffs, college baseball getting closer to the College World Series. Come and join us, folks. We'll see you then. McCollum on Business, Thursday edition.